I'd like to welcome everyone to the September 2nd, 2025 Board of Supervisors evening meeting. I'll call the meeting to order. Our first order of business tonight will be a citizens forum. For the citizens forum, all citizens are welcome to come up and speak for 3 minutes on anything that is not on the agenda. And we have a code of conduct for that, which I will read. All meetings and work sessions shall be conducted by all participants with observance of fundamental rules of civility, including restraint in demeanor and respect for others and their views. Shouting, profanity, threats, personal attacks, and other similar actions are unacceptable. Should the chairman determine that a participant is likely to or has violated the foregoing conduct guidelines, the chairman may take appropriate action. So with that, we'll open the citizens forum. Is there anyone that would like to come up tonight and speak for 3 minutes? Anyone? Mr. Haight.
Thank you, Chairman Durr and members of the board. Don Haight, Stevensburg, and appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm happy to see the Boy Scouts, is that right? Here today, and I appreciate them. I was a Boy Scout about 50 years ago, and see how I turned out. I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing, but I appreciate the journey. Support Culpeper Farms by Buy Fresh, Buy Local. Adam Forrester and I launched the YouTube channel, and it's called Virginia Outdoors, and I'm the host, Farmer D. I interview members of the farming community here in Culpeper County, bringing awareness to the many farming-related businesses that need green space. I urge our board to be true to their word and preserve the rural character of Culpeper County. No rezoning for data centers, no large housing projects, and no utility-scale solar projects on agricultural land. We have peace and tranquility here, and I showcase businesses that are in Culpeper because of that. The decisions you make today will affect generations to come. Please view the 7 episodes I have done so far by going to my website, www.farmer-d.com, and scroll down to the bottom and click on the YouTube button. Our latest episode was launched yesterday, and I interviewed Mary Seek of Seek Lavender. Trust me, you will enjoy that episode. A rural related business will be featured every other week, and I hope you all stay tuned to see the new businesses. I went to the Brandy Station Fireman's Carnival last month, and it was amazing. I encourage everyone to go next year and do everything you can to support our volunteer fire department, all of them. They all do an amazing job, and we are blessed to have them. You can support by volunteering to be a member, volunteering at any of their fundraising events, or just simply stroke them a check. Trust me, they will be helpful, but they will be thankful for your support. We are so lucky to have our volunteer fire and rescue personnel, and we need to do everything that we can to support them. My name is Donald Haight Jr. I love Culpeper County, and I'm here to stay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Haight. Is there anyone else that would like to come and speak? Come on up.
All right, Sarah Parmalee, representing the Piedmont Environmental Council. We would like to sincerely thank the board for its letter to the State Corporation Commission concerning Dominion's current rate case, which will have a significant impact on how much we pay for power in the foreseeable future. In this letter, the board asked that the cost of data center infrastructure be made the responsibility of the data centers, which are by and large responsible for the massive increase in power and infrastructure demand, and not the responsibility of other ratepayers, including residents, small businesses, and farmers, whose energy demand is virtually flat. We thank the board again for this letter and would like to remind them that the SEC comment window for the Culpeper Tech Zone transmission project is currently open and will be open until October 7th. This would be an opportunity for the board to raise concerns not adequately addressed by Dominion to the SEC, which will ultimately determine the routing of those transmission lines. Thank you again.
Thank you, Sarah. Is there anyone else that would like to come up? Anyone else? We will close the citizens forum. We have an agenda before us. Are there any additions or deletions? Hearing none, we will move forward with the agenda before us. Item 3.01, special presentations. We are honored to have Boy Scout Troop 196 here with us tonight. You guys want to stand up a little for a minute? These young men are earning their merit badge in citizenship and community. We are happy to have you here. We hope you can learn something about local government and how we operate. And welcome. Would you like to introduce your troop?
196 Culpeper, 2 troops left. I have 6 of my scouts with me. I have my committee chair, Amy Black, and I am West End Scoutmaster. Will you introduce yourself?
I am Robert, and I'm Starman. Hi, I'm Elliot, and I'm a second classmate.
I'm Caleb Bean, I'm Tenderfoot. I'm Jessica Sunday, Scout Rank. I'm David Davenport, Scout Rank. I'm Marshall Moore, and I'm second class.
Thank you. Once again, welcome. Our next item of business is general county business public hearings. The Board of Supervisors will hold a public hearing and consider approval of an increase in the tipping fees at Culpeper County Solid Waste Transfer Station. The proposed fee would increase from $71.50 to $74. And I will now open the public hearing for this change. Please come forward. Give us your name and magisterial district.
I'm Ron Horn. I live in the Culpeper district. I've been there over 60 years. I want to thank the Boy Scouts too, because I was a Boy Scout. I think me and Paul was on the same one that year, but it was fun. With the tipping fee, there was 2 things I want to try to go over. This is going to continue to happen each year. You know, it's something that if you do your research, there's 2 major haulers in this United States right now, Waste Management Republic. And what causes this disposal to just go crazy is they control the landfills. If you don't own a landfill, you have no option but to go to them. So when these 2 players get together, they usually don't bid against each other. They can control the market. You got, bombshelled when Shoesmith landfill closed. Some of you might not know that, but that's in Richmond, Virginia. It's a private landfill. It was the largest landfill probably in the area. Mostly all the haulers would haul there. If you were a third-party hauler like the Murph is here or any of the transfer stations, they would get a contract with Shoesmith. They would pay $15, $20 a ton to bring it in by the load, and these truckers could make money hauling it from you. But when Shoesmith landfill closed, it closed down a lot. I mean, GFL, part of GFL, we had to go out and do a bidding war to get us a good rate with Republic down there, because Republic controls the landfills and it hurts everyone. So I would suggest, for us to try to get ahead of this, and I don't know even if you do it or not, but try to get together before next year. Try to get a committee together. Get some people together with some minds. There are other options out there. But unless we get out in front of it, and, y'all know what y'all have to do, but the trash haulers know what they got to do, You can get Hunter Horner. He's our general manager. He's a young guy. He's very bright. And he can work with the committee. I can help, or you can get volunteers, but to try to come up with a solution, because there is solutions. You got the incinerator there in Lorton. They offered it to us for $32 a ton. So all you got to do is find a trucking company to get it there for you, and to find a way of loading it. So there's options with. If you don't really own a landfill, you go out and you bid your trash. That's what we do. We got 600,000 ton of trash. We bid it. They give you a rate. They give you a low rate. So I would suggest before next year. I know you got to pass this tonight. It's no choice. I mean, we're so far upside down on it. So I would just say for next year, maybe just get a committee together. Just get some brains together to try to figure out another option, and don't let them control you and push you around like they have. On the next thing, I talked to Paul a little bit, and I think it might be corrected. But going into next year, if we could get a notice of the increase. I know there was a proposal sent to us, a 30-day notice proposal, but we deal with a lot of brokers. And with the brokers, we cannot raise their rate unless we give them a 60-day notice. So what that does to us as GFL, we haul almost 2,000 ton a month for brokers' trash. So when you haul 2,000 ton and you have an increase like this, it's going to cost us $7,000 a month until we can get them up. And we probably won't get them up until January. So, I mean, just if it could be just something that you could think about, if you're going to approve it in July and make it effective September, or approving it tonight and make it effective tomorrow really doesn't do our commercial hauler, commercial customers any good. You know, we can't just increase them tomorrow. So that's the two things I had to go over. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Mr. Haight.
Thank you. I'll make this quick. Is this mic on? There it is. I would like to see Supervisor Paul's badges just to make sure. I want to see exactly what you did, but I know he did a good job. Just to make sure, Culpeper does not need a landfill. Just get this clear. Culpeper does not need their own landfill here in Culpeper County. As far as the rate, it's good that you're raising the rate, but the rate needs to be raised even more, because what we're paying to get rid of this is way more than what we're paying, what the people are paying. So the rate, again, is way too low. You can't charge $1 to receive trash and pay $3 to get rid of trash. So we're losing. Every time someone brings trash in, the Culpeper County residents are losing money. We can't continue to do that. The rate needs to go higher. And if you have trash, you have to pay to play. Simple as that. But you can't put the burden on other Culpeper citizens that may or may not have trash, because you are not charging enough to get rid of the trash that you're paying more for. Thank you. Doesn't make sense.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come and speak? Anyone else? Okay, we will close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion that we approve increasing the tipping fee to $74 from $71.50.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, first, relative to the comments, there is a committee. Obviously, we've not done a good enough job advertising, so I'm going to take this time right now to say, if Mr. Hunter Horn or anyone else will come forward, please do. We want help. I would love to have the fees that are charged to the county be as low as possible, and we'll do all that we can to assist keeping the fees to constituents as low as possible. I agree with Mr. Haight. We don't want a landfill. We had one, it didn't work, and we're still paying for it. So we're not going to have another. That said, we very, very much want those who know about this, and I'm not one. I have been selected for whatever reason to lead Public Works. That may change, it may not, but whoever it is wants all the help you can get. So our plan is to look at it beginning next year, because we wanted to move it in the cycle with our budget. And our budget is on July 1st, so we want to be very clear that we're going to set the rate in the future for July 1st. So all the help we can get, please contact county administration or environmental services. Thank you.
Mr.
Chairman,
Bates.
I just want to piggyback on Supervisor Underwood's comments, because the old saying goes, you don't beat a man in his own trade. And when you've got people who are working in the industry, I think they would be a huge source of guidance when it comes to that. And not to say that, and just for the record, Mr. Horn is with GFL, so that's one of the larger haulers, and we have Updike Industries, and you know, there's a couple other smaller haulers. And just like when we do a rezoning, we send out notices and let people know that there's going to be a rezoning or whatever the case may be. Maybe it's something we could let these people that are tied to the industry that could come in and give us direction. And because there's so many options out there that as a Board of Supervisors, I don't think any of us are true authority when it comes to hauling trash and what to do with it once we've got it picked up. So just to, piggyback on your comment, and I think that would be a wise move by Public Works to get several different. That way we're not showing favoritism to one company, but we get them all in a sit-down and see what we can come up with. And I agree. We need to get ahead of it to keep our prices down.
Thank you. Mr. Underwood, would you be willing to amend your motion to approving the uncodified ordinance as proposed in the agenda?
So moved. Yes, so amended.
Mr. Seconded. Okay, we have a motion and an approval. Is there further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. You want to have a roll call vote?
It's an ordinance,
Aye.
Hold on just a minute here. Ms. Ellis, would you please do a roll call vote? Aye. The resolution is carried. Okay, our next order of business, we're moving to Planning Commission business. Item 5.01, a proposed amendment to the zoning ordinance ZTA-13-25-1, making data processing and computing, secure messaging, and customer support conditional use in light industrial and heavy industrial zones. Mr. Drummiller, would you please lead us into this?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll begin by reading the letter of recommendation from the Planning Commission. The Board of Supervisors will consider a revision to the zoning ordinance, specifically 7.1A Light Industry Industrial Park District, LI, and Article 7.1B Industrial District, HI of the County Code. The revisions, if adopted as they were proposed to the Planning Commission, would require the issuance of a conditional use permit for data processing and computing, secure messaging services, and customer support for property zone LI or HI, which are outside of the designated technology zone as described in Chapter 12, Technology Zones. Within the designated technology zone, data processing and computing, secure messaging service, and customer support would become a principal or permitted use. This amendment was considered by the Planning Commission after proper advertising and public hearing held on Wednesday, August 13th, 2025. The Planning Commission has recommended an amendment to the code revisions as proposed that would remove Section 7.1A-2-2.5. This recommended amendment would effectively require conditional use permits for all data processing and computing, secure messaging services, and customer support uses across LI district and HI districts, regardless of whether the use is in the proposed technology zones, or in the technology zones, excuse me. The Planning Commission determined that the amendment to code as presented and as amended is required to serve the public necessity, convenience, and general welfare and good zoning practices as required by Virginia Code Section 15.2-2286A7. Upon motion duly carried, the Planning Commission recommends to the Board of Supervisors by 8-0 vote that the proposed zoning text amendment with recommended revisions be adopted. The Board will determine whether the proposed ordinance amendment is necessary to further the general purposes of promoting health, safety, and general welfare of the public and other purposes found in the Code of Virginia, Section 15.2-2283 and 2285. Sincerely, Sanford Reeves, Jr. Mr. Chairman, if I could get Kim to bring up the map that is the overall zoning map. I just want to reference that there are 140 parcels. Well, go one more, Kim, please. There's a zoom in of it so you can see it better. Excuse me. There are 140 parcels zoned LI, totaling 2,219 acres that would be affected by this. There are 118 parcels totaling 867 acres zoned HI in the county that would be affected by the proposed change. As I put at your places, there are 4 specific mechanical code changes, 4 sections that would change, and I won't bore you with listing them out, but I would point out before I stop my rambling is that, this use has impacts that are unique in that they can reach further than the boundaries of the property, more so than other uses, as we see with transmission lines. That's partially been taken care of by your current code that you've adopted with some conditional use permit requirements for utilities. But I would point out that, if you're not served by public and water and sewer and you're out somewhere in the county in the LI or HI, that as a zoning administrator, if I get something that satisfies Article 20, your groundwater use, I have no regulation to control that beyond the health department. And I would point out that in the light industrial district, in the nuisance ordinance, the light industrial daytime noise allowed at the property line is 85 decibels during the daytime, and it's 75 at night. And I'll leave it at that because y'all are well aware of the issues. Any questions? I'd be
Thank
happy
you.
to
Any
try to
questions for Mr. Drumiller or staff before we open the public hearing? Okay, with that, we will open the public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to come forward and speak on this issue? Please.
Sarah Parmalee, representing the Piedmont Environmental Council. We ask that you adopt option 1 of the proposed amendments for zoning ordinance ZTA 1325-1. We think it is critical that data centers be removed as a by right use in Culpeper's industrial land, so that the Planning Commission, the board, and most importantly, the citizens of Culpeper can have more of a say in where data center growth occurs. This is an extremely prudent measure and one taken by Loudoun County, home to Data Center Alley, earlier this year in an effort to control data center growth and allow for more public input. We also support the notion of requiring a CUP for new projects within the tech zone. However, we are unable to support the recommendation of the Planning Commission at this time due to potential technical issues with how the recommendation was made. We would support a future amendment that would require a CUP for yet unproffered properties within the tech zone, but we do not think that those projects that have explicitly reserved the right to build data centers in their proffers can be required to apply for a CUP retroactively. Finally, we encourage the board, as we have encouraged the Planning Commission, not to stop with this amendment, but to create a full data center ordinance so that when a data center inevitably applies for a CUP, the Planning Commission and board can make an informed decision about the impacts and benefits of a given project. We would also support the board's exploration of the option of making the tech zone an overlay district so that it could function more, as the board has said it would prefer it to, as the only place where data center growth can occur in Culpeper. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Please come up.
Good evening. My name is Susan Ralston, and I live in Stevensburg. I am in favor of any and all guardrails that the county can put in place to restrict data center development and protect its citizens. I'm very concerned that there are hundreds of acres of land already zoned for data centers by right, or will be rezoned without CUP restrictions in place. For example, the county has already made the mistake of allowing Amazon to rezone 240 plus acres of ag land for an approximately 10-acre data center. But now that that land has been rezoned light industrial, they can fill up the rest of that 200 plus acres with more data centers, build a huge campus, which we know they already do in other counties, and they can do so by right, which I think this is incredibly short-sighted. What are we getting out of these massive projects? Right after the Cielo developer got their project rezoning for a little over 100 acres, they sold that land for $60 million. With an original purchase price of $14 million, that rezoning was worth $46 million to the developer. Again, what did Culpeper and our citizens get out of this deal? And does this industry really need the tax incentives to come to Culpeper? It seems that all rural land in Northern Virginia is being targeted, not just the tech zones. The projects in the tech zones should not be exempted from the CUP process. I believe it needs to be across the board for any and all future projects. As the PC members discussed in the hearing, the tech zone could change, so leaving those parcels out of this amendment leaves us vulnerable. A few months ago, when we experienced a huge uptick in truck traffic on Algonquin, going from the Amazon construction site, and complained about it after an accident, I was alarmed to find out that there was no traffic plan in place and no recourse to protect us from the noise pollution, the road damage, the dangerous conditions from speeding trucks. And residents and county officials complained directly to Amazon, but to no avail. After months of discussion, the board did just adopt a resolution to restrict commercial truck traffic on Algonquin, and I greatly, greatly appreciate you doing that. But this is an example of working retroactively instead of proactively to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens. And besides the traffic, what about the visual impacts of these ugly buildings? What happens to when the landscaping plan fails because the trees that should have been buffers die from the lack of care? You know how hard it is to get new trees to take hold. What about the light and noise pollution? What guardrails can the county put in place to mitigate the impact to the community? The CU process will be a tool to allow the public to weigh in when considering the data center application and do everything possible to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens. I do hope you'll listen to the public now and in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Mr. Haight.
Thank you again, Don Haight, Stevensburg. The Board of Supervisors need to do the following. Data centers need their own ordinance, as well as a separate zoning specifically for data centers, as well as utility scale solar. I feel it is a great idea to include all data centers, including those in the tech zone in the CUP. I hope you all have consulted with legal to make sure this is legal. If you haven't, you need to pause and take the time and have a detailed conversation with legal to evaluate to make sure that these changes can be made and also include those in data centers currently in tech zone that already have been approved. And if legal has approved these changes, then you should move forward. The tech zone wording should be changed on any and all documents. The wording should be as follows. The tech zone as it is currently mapped out. And the reason I say that, because if you expand the tech zone, then all of a sudden, the areas that you expanded are now included in the wording. So it should say, as the tech zone is currently mapped out. Any expansion to the tech zone should be mapped out and legal should be consulted. But if you have done your due diligence and if you have consulted with legal that the current changes will not cause Culpeper to be or to go into any litigation, then move forward. That is my concern. My concern that maybe all the T's have not been crossed, all the dots, the I's have not been dotted, and you move forward, and this will cause Culpeper to engage into another needless litigation. So remember, I asked you if this has been done, and if it hasn't been done properly, then to pause, so we do not engage in any legal matters. And if we do, because you choose not to, I'll be the first person to come in here and say, I asked you to pause. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing and open this up for discussion or a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll start. So I support the concept of ensuring that any new data centers, whether in the tech zone or out of the tech zone, are applying the conditional use permit. I agree with Sarah Parmalee from the Piedmont Environmental Council that any of the ones that have already proffered all their other uses away and are strictly for data centers, whether they are in site plan or whether they are still working on their site plan to be submitted, that they should be able to continue without the extra burden of the conditional use process. But I do agree that any expansion to the tech zone or any new tech zones that are created in the future, that they would be subject to the conditional use permit. So that is my stance.
Other comments, Mr. Bates?
I agree wholeheartedly with Supervisor Gugino that, although I didn't support the Kaiser Farm rezoning, I was under the impression that was going to be a data center because they'd proffered out all the other uses except for a data center. So I'm going to direct a question to our county attorney when it comes to vested rights. And I don't know if that's a gray area or how that works, but I was always under the impression if it was a governmental approval and you had moved forward with this and you had a government approval on that, that you would be considered vested. Is that?
Site plan approved.
If there's a site plan approved, or the county has accepted proffers, or in reliance upon the governmental action, the party incurs substantial expenses and is moving forward, it's vested.
So with that said, it would stand, is my understanding that the data centers, the 6 that we have, or 5 that are in the tech zone now, there's only 3 parcels left that would fall under this new CUP requirement. And let's keep in mind that when we talked about the tech zone and data centers, it's not exclusive for data centers. It's a tax break, if you would, to come to Culpeper and set up camp here. So it's not to say that the last 3 parcels would end up being data centers, although they probably will be. But I think that we should have a seat at the table and be able to have a tool in our toolbox that we could, discuss that before we approve them. So I agree with Ms. Gugino. Those that are vested, it would not impact. But going forward, the 3 parcels that remain, they would fall under this new conditional use permit requirement.
Further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to take that just a step further. I think that I voted against the first one because I certainly did not agree with rezoning the agricultural land for that purpose. And as you all know that have served with me, I'm conservative as hell. And once it was approved, I thought that the best thing to do was see how this thing was going to take effect, what effect it was going to be on the people in the county and what we could expect from them. Then there became a whirlwind of them coming in like that. And I said a long time ago to the board, we don't need to be giving any incentives for these things. The price of the land is the incentive compared to what they're paying in other areas. I think that's a good point. We don't need to be giving incentives. They're going to come whether you give them incentives or you don't. But I think that we've got to be careful. We've been notified that some of these others have incurred significant expenses when they don't have I don't know how you're going to differentiate between them. Somebody tell me how we're going to do that. I think you've got to differentiate between the ones that have spent money who are, as the county attorney says, are vested there if they don't have a site plan approved.
Mr. Underwood?
Mr. Chairman, I agree with all of the points we've heard mentioned so far. And I agree with the public comments. So with that, unless we're going to adopt what we advertised, which if we're going to do that, let's make a motion and do it. But if we're not going to do that, perhaps it makes sense to send this back to wherever it needs to go, to dot I's and cross T's, and get what Supervisor Gugino and Supervisor Bates want to be done. So, I mean, unless there's some reason we can't dot i's and cross t's or don't think we need to, I'm for doing that if we're not going to pass or consider what was advertised.
Supervisor Lee?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I would like to go ahead and make the motion, because I believe that we have crossed all of our Ts and dotted our Is, but if we haven't, we can discuss that. But I would like to go ahead and make the motion that we adopt option 1 as the amendment to the zoning ordinance ZTA-13-25-1. Did I state that correctly?
I think you stated it clearly. Option 1
Option
is
one?
the Planning Commission's recommendation.
No, sir.
Option 1 is
Staff's
what we
recommendation.
sent to Planning Commission.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mhm.
We have a motion. Is there a second? I believe the motion dies without a second.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Is there further discussion? Let me ask a question here to our county attorney. Is there a way to dot the i's and cross the t's here tonight and come out of this with some sort of a hybrid motion or hybrid ordinance?
The Virginia Code's got specific, it's very detailed about what is vested, considered vested, and that can be applied on a case-by-case basis to arrive at the answer. I think the answer will be fairly clear in every case. It is or it isn't. So, and I don't know how you'd go essentially making that determination at the board level that this is vested and this isn't. Without evaluating all the circumstances. So I think the way the motion is worded now with the amendment, number one, gives the county much greater tools to deal with these applications, and especially the impacts that are off-site. Virginia law is you can't require off-site improvements if the property is already zoned. However, you can make it a condition of a special use permit. So that is a huge difference as far as dealing with the impacts. And as far as the parcels that are in progress, from what I've been told, we've reviewed them already, and it's pretty clear which ones are essentially vested and which there's 3 that aren't.
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Bates?
so if you come before the board to rezone a piece of property and you proffer out all other uses but a data center, and it's rezoned. That's
Vested.
governmental approval, and you.
That's vested. That's specifically dealt with in the Virginia Code. If you accept a significant, now, if there were 5 uses that were possible, it might not be vested. But if they proffered everything out and it's obvious it's a data center and it's approved by the board, then that's vested.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to get the county administrator's take on this, if I may. I mean, if he could enlighten us a little bit on.
I think that's an excellent idea.
I'm not so sure that's an excellent idea, but I like the county administrator.
So do I.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not going to pass a legal opinion because I'm not an attorney, and I will never give legal counsel. You have that right now, tonight. As far as vested rights, I've lived in the planning and zoning world, so for the past 25 years I know a little bit about it, but it's coming straight out of what Mr. Bennett just read to you, and that's from the state code, which is 15.22307. As with any code, it's written in black and white, but there's plenty of gray. My only advice to the board would be, Mr. Chairman, that if there's any unsureness, that you do not try to make the sausage on the dais, and that we go back, review it with the Rules Committee if needed, and make sure that you're all comfortable to move forward with an ordinance. So.
Are there any further questions or discussion? hearing the discussion here tonight, I believe that the conditional use permit for data centers going forward is a very good idea. I also feel very strongly that the data centers in the technology zone that we have approved, that rezoning was an approval by this body that we made and we need to adhere to and continue with. How we separate that out, I guess I'm hearing that the best way to do that would be to have council work with our planning commission or the rules committee. Rules committee? Okay. Let's have council work with rules and come back to the board with a recommendation.
I think it's not it would be an unusual practice to try and go through and determine this parcel is vested, this parcel is not vested. The legal test is clear from the statute. I mean, they've gotten as specific as a statute can get. And from what I've been told, that the cases in the tech zone that you've previously heard sounds to me like they're all vested. But here's the other thing, that since this process has begun, there's been 2 applications that have come in the industrial land outside of the tech zone, which at some point could become vested even though you change the ordinance later on. So once you start on this, there is some good rationale to go ahead and do it. And if you have to come back and modify it or whatever, do that then, so you don't have a flood of applications under the existing ordinance that you have to accept.
Does that mean that perhaps Supervisor Lee's motion was prescient, if maybe a little before we were ready to second it?
Supervisor Lee, would you like to restate your motion?
Oh, absolutely, yes, sir. I'm sorry, I did not quite understand Supervisor Underwood's
Sorry, you made a good motion.
comment.
Maybe you need to do it again.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that the board adopts option 1 as the amendment to the zoning ordinance ZTA-13-25-1.
Is there a second?
Could I offer an amendment to that motion, that the discussion of conditional use within the current technology zone be forwarded to the Rules Committee for further discussion?
I'm not sure that I understand that amendment.
So he's saying the motion is for conditional use outside only.
Yes.
But yet we have a lot of people saying that there are still undeveloped parcels within our technology zone. So I think that deserves another look at the Rules Committee to determine if there is a way to ensure that we protect ourselves from any further development within there, that we have full authority to have those conditions and such. So just to revisit the Planning Commission's recommendation to see what validity is still there.
Well, how does that affect our current data center partners in the technology zone if we go with that change to the motion?
It doesn't affect them at all. It's just looking at if we want to look further into the Planning Commission's recommendation.
Because I truly believe it's bad business practice for us to apply the conditional use permit to the already committed data center partners in our technology zone. That's just a catastrophe.
I don't think you could do that. Excuse me, my allergies are killing me here. I don't think you can do that.
So if we approve option 1 tonight, we are approving a change to the ordinance. Revisiting that in Rules Committee means this is starting again. That will then be the ordinance. Revisiting it in Rules means we are starting from square one.
Just revisiting the inside the tech zone portion.
But it's still,
You could.
That's my question. Would that be correct?
Or,
The
See, I think
motion
that adds
is,
confusion to
the motion is
what we're
that
trying
the
to
light
do.
industrial and heavy industrial, that data center would require a use permit. Silent, would be silent on the tech zone,
right.
and that would be subject to further evaluation. So right now, it's a use by right. In the tech zone, no special use permit is required. So if you have an application that comes in while this is under consideration, then it's more than likely to come under the existing ordinance that no special use permit is required.
So what you just said, County Attorney, is that any unused or any uncommitted land within the tech zone, if we pass this tonight, will fall under the use permit because it's in place before that starts. Is that what you just said?
If this ordinance is adopted, including the tech zone, then the tech zone, light industrial, heavy industrial would all, if it's a data center application, it would require a special use permit.
Even in the tech zone?
Even in the tech zone.
Option 2, or option one?
Option 2
Option 2 would require that. Option 1 would not.
would not.
Okay,
And option 1 is what has been moved.
I understand.
So,
Is it seconded yet?
I don't believe we
Second
have a
for
second.
discussion.
We have a second for discussion.
Now, to me, I believe there's, and if there isn't consensus, I believe we all want to look and figure out what to do in the tech zone and make sure it's done correctly. So the question is whether we do it tonight and do some version of what we're calling option 2, which I don't know if that's exactly what the planning commission said or not. Maybe people are more informed than I am. But whatever it is, we can do that. Or we can do option 1, which gets everything other than 3 parcels. And we know, we think, but I don't know for sure that that's the case. But we know that the problem, or we know that a lot of the solution of what was originally advertised is what is passed, and we feel very secure about that. And we can then have rules go back, which we all want, and figure it out. But yes, it does mean there's a period of time where there will be the ability to vest rights without a conditional use permit on some number of parcels, which some think is 3,
In the tech zone,
in the tech zone.
yes.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Further discussion.
Mr. Chairman, it would be awful nice if we'd had one up there and had a little more time and taken the time to have these discussions before we're dealing with the number that we've got out there right now.
Other questions? Further discussion?
so the vote is on option 1 as stated,
The vote is on your motion, which is option 1,
with a clear second to the motion.
with a second.
Okay.
Is there further discussion? Okay, this being a vote on an ordinance, we need to do a roll call vote. Ms. Ellis? Hold on.
The amendment to the motion has been withdrawn? The amendment
Yes.
that you made? Ma'am?
Yes, the amendment has been withdrawn. Not to say that the Rules Committee cannot go back and do this.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. And I would ask Ms. Gugino, Chairman of the Rules Committee, to begin looking at this at your earliest possible convenience.
I'd also ask if they look at the possibility of removing incentives from this technology zone.
I agree, but please add that to rules if you could.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Is there any further business to come before the board? We are adjourned.